This is a horror love story that everyone knows in Madanpura, Kamatipura, and Mumbai Central. It's said that no one goes to this area of the school after dusk because the atmosphere becomes terrifying. The events that have happened there are horrifying, and the incidents that still occur are just as frightening. Friends, this is not just a story, it's the history of that place. No movie has been made, nor has any book been written about Champabai's haunting love story. It still amazes me to this day. When I first heard this story, I thought, man, this definitely deserves a film, because it's so captivating. You'll know about Madanpura and Kamatipura, but today you will also learn about it. It's very intriguing. And now, the story begins. For more eerie, mysterious, and historical videos, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This story begins around 1950 when a woman named Ratna used to work in Madanpura. Today she's known as Champabai, and why she was given this name is something I will tell you in the story. She worked as a house cleaner. Ratna wasn't very old. She was quite young at that time. Full of youthful energy, she was drawn towards Yusuf Baggan, also known as Baggan Kasai. Today we refer to him as Baggan or Baggan the Butcher. While Ratna had a mere fondness for Baggan, Baggan was madly in love with her. Baggan was already married, which is why he wasn't marrying Ratna. He wasn't giving their relationship a name. Ratna began to feel that perhaps she could love someone else if Baggan didn't give their relationship a name. But this thought led to her downfall, and you will find out how. This idea pushed her towards another man named Shankar, who lived in Madanpura. Baggan didn't know much about Shankar and Ratna's relationship, as some friends and people had informed him, but he ignored it. He felt Ratna couldn't do such a thing. He thought that maybe some people wanted to come between them, spreading rumors to ruin their relationship. Then one day, Baggan, while leaving his shop and heading home, saw from afar that Ratna and Shankar were holding hands. He saw this and was stunned. How could this happen? Baggan was a mad lover. He loved Ratna immensely, but due to his marriage, he couldn't marry her, as he didn't want a second wife. Still, he was a crazy lover, and he wanted to kill them both. However, he had a cunning mind and decided he wouldn't act on it immediately. Shankar and Ratna were heading toward Champa Compound, an open field known by that name. Baggan was following them. As soon as they reached Champa Compound, Baggan pulled out a knife and slit both their throats. He was so furious that he killed them without a second thought. Afterward, he cut their bodies into small pieces and buried them in that very field. His mindset was, if I can't have you, then no one else will either. And no one found out about this incident. 2 people had been killed and buried there. But those living nearby often said that around midnight, they would hear the cries of 2 people from Champa Compound, a man and a woman. We hear screams and cries as if someone is cutting them. These sounds don't come from above but from beneath the ground. This incident happened 6 months ago. 6 months later, when the neighbors repeatedly complained about hearing these sounds at midnight, they informed the police. When the police went there, they didn't find any bodies, but they did find Ratna's bangles and her clothes, as well as many of Shankar's clothes. Everyone knew Ratna belonged to Baggan, and it was also common knowledge that Shankar caused jealousy in Baggan. So all suspicion fell on Baggan. They also found Ratna's blood nearby, so the police were highly suspicious of Baggan and immediately took strict action, arresting him for many years. After these events, Champa Compound became infamous for being haunted. People believed that spirits roamed there, so no one sent their children there after dusk. But many years later, there were plans to build a school in that area. Builders don't care whether a place is haunted or cursed. They went ahead and built the school anyway. This school was named Umar Rajab School, located in the Madanpura, which falls in the Champa Compound area. Now, what I've told you so far is just the backstory. The real story begins now, with the first terrifying incident that took place there. A group of children who attended Umar Rajab School were playing cricket in the compound after school. They had no idea about the history of the place. Their parents often told them not to go there after dark, but still they were playing there. Suddenly it was around 8 or 9 p.m., and at about 9 p.m., their ball got stuck on the first floor of the school. It was strictly forbidden to go to the first floor, especially near the girls' washroom, as many paranormal activities had been witnessed there. But a boy named Khalid stepped up and said, "No worries, I'll go get it. I'll climb up and fetch the ball." So he began to climb up a pipe from the ground floor. When he reached the roof of the first floor, he was just about to grab the ball when he saw a woman sitting there, covered in blood. She had the ball in her hand, and her hand was half severed. Seeing this, Khalid fainted. He was only 14 or 15 years old, and out of terror he jumped down. His arm broke in the fall, and it remains damaged to this day. A few days later, Khalid began experiencing possession-like symptoms, as if a spirit had entered him. He kept saying, "My name is Ratna, and I am still buried in that field." Umar Rajab School, which is in Madanpura, was built over that compound. This school is considered one of the most haunted, especially the girls' washroom on the first floor. People say that the washroom should never be used, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening. But there is another incident. A girl in the 4th or 5th standard urgently needed to use the washroom. All the other toilets were occupied, so she went towards this one, even though it was strictly prohibited. When she opened the door, she saw 2 people crawling on the floor, a man and a woman. Both were screaming, their bodies were cut up, and they were covered in blood. That's her story. A similar incident happened to a boy who saw a man crawling in the classroom. But this man wasn't of this world. He was a spirit. The boy also became possessed, but this possession was by a man. Believe me, friends, this boy developed a high fever, and 16 days later, he died. Umar Rajab School is so haunted that I'm not the one saying this. The people of Madanpura, Kamatipura, and Mumbai Central all say that you shouldn't even wander near this place. I don't know how the parents there still send their children to study there. Friends, there's another thing. The incidents I've told you about are from some years ago, before 2000. These are stories from 1990 and 1995. Friends, no matter how many stories there are, this place is haunted. And these aren't just 2 incidents, these happen every day. The people living nearby often say that even today, we hear screams and cries from this place. We don't know how many others are buried there, but we hear these sounds daily. Children always say they saw a shadow here, or they saw a shadow there. But everyone knows that shadow belongs to only one person, and that's Champabai. Because many years ago, she was buried in Champa Compound. Ratna and Shankar were buried there in 1950, and since then, these events have been happening every day. When the school was built over Champa Compound, people thought these incidents might stop, but they continue to this day. Parents are still afraid to send their children there. But I want to clarify that nowadays, people don't report such incidents. And today, Umar Rajab School has been well renovated. People no longer claim they feel negative vibes. So people say that the atmosphere there has improved. But in the old days, no one used to go near it. And, friends, Ratna was called Champabai because she was buried in Champa Compound. Whenever she was possessed, she would say, "I am the same Ratna who was buried in Champa Compound." That's why people call her Champabai. Even though the school has been renovated and the staff has changed, there is no proof that Champabai's spirit still roams there. Or not. I'm just telling you a story. But today I want to ask you a question. Have people in that area ever heard about this? Or are these incidents still happening? Please let us know in the comments. In the final part of this story, I just want to say that just like animals have their own territories and don't let anyone enter, spirits and witches also have their territories. They don't like it when anyone enters their domain. And if you happen to pass through their area, and if they wish, they invite you to death. Thank you.